guys? It's your boy Stevie G here at Seamless Garage. Back with another episode of the Seamless Garage podcast. Along with me, I've got a good friend of mine. Been a friend of mine for a long time. Mr. Ben Stuart. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on here. I'm excited to get in here and talk about these topics and discuss the world of mechanics, man. Been listening to your podcast for a while. Figured this time I come throw my 2 cents in, brother.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. I respect your look on things. You've taught me a lot of things in the field too, and probably vice versa. And
oh yeah,
it's that's what I love about this field, man. Is we can bounce things off each other. Why don't you give me a little background of how you started in the mechanic field and all that good stuff?
All right. Well, when I was a younger kid, my father and grandfather both did small engine repair. Had a couple different small engine repair shops, if you will. So I was always around tools and tinkering and taking stuff apart and putting stuff back together. A little after high school, I got a job as an oil changer and just kind of kept rolling from there. Went from oil changes to tire shops to minor mechanic shops, and then wound up in the dealer world, and then got out of that for a while and then went back to it and just been here and there and everywhere, man.
Right. It's kind of that ladder, right? Like you always start out as express or something, man.
Yep.
So many technicians that I talk to, technicians and mechanics I talk to, they're like, they weren't even really interested in cars, but they got a job as an oil changer, and then boom, it just opened up the world, man. So
that's kind of the way it started with me. I wasn't necessarily ever a gearhead, anything like that. I like tinkering with stuff. I like taking stuff apart and knowing how it works and what makes it tick. But as far as just really being into cars, I never really did anything other than work on my own stuff. When it broke down or whatever, I'd have my mom's boyfriend at the time, or somebody else's dad over there. Hey, man, this is what you got to do to fix it. Let's take this apart.
Down the road, yeah.
Yeah, kind of give you the guidelines of it. But man, I've been in the field actually making money doing mechanic work for, oh Lord, we're going on close to 20 years now.
Man.
So.
Man. That's a career too, man. That's wild.
Been a minute.
It's only been, I think it's been 10 for me, officially, like professionally. You know what I mean? After UTI, because I graduated UTI at the end of 2011, so maybe not quite 10 just yet. But yeah, man, it's great to have you on. You got a great insight on everything, man. Like I said, we've discussed, off air before about a lot of things.
Oh yes, we have.
Regarding the field, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So let's get into this. I sent you a couple topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And figured you'd have some good input on these because, you've been in the field for 20 years. So the first one I want to go across is like the state of the current field, like how it is now, like what's going on currently, how do you feel about it, that type of deal, and we can kind of roll off of that.
Yeah. Well, right now there's several aspects of that, but I guess where I would start is the actual mechanics of it. Cars are starting to change. You're getting a lot of, hybrid material. You're getting a lot of reinventing of the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah,
and things are moving toward a more technological age. They're trying to make everything, one of the words we use at our shop, and I've heard other people, is trying to make everything idiot-proof. There's a light tells you when to do everything. There's a sensor for everything. It's making it to where you have to have zero knowledge to maintain your car,
right? Which
I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand why they're going there because the general public has no clue what they're doing.
Right.
The problem with that is you're going to run into so many electrical problems. I call it chasing a ghost in the machine, a phantom code, or one tiny little baby bad connection on one pin of a connector can cause havoc with the whole electrical system. Or one little nick in a wire from a rat chewing on it, or one bent wire from a bad body repair. You chase so many ghosts in the machine with so many electrical components now that I think it's kind of almost detrimental to the field in the fact of how long it takes technicians to find these tiny little tinks. It could take you hours upon hours to look for something that could have easily been avoided with 5 minutes of work previously. It's and that kind of ties into the next thing I'm thinking about the field is there is such a shortage of technicians and guys that are actually wanting to get in there and get their hands dirty. Man. So many guys want to come in, excuse my language, just want to sit on their ass all day and accept a check. And, it's fine. You have your days where you're a little slow. You kind of get caught up, organize your tools, clean your area, and kind of have an easy day.
Right.
But most of the time, you want to stay busy. You want to be underneath that hood making money. And there's so many guys that, I see them, say shop opens up at 7:30. These guys come rolling in about 8:30, dragging their feet, half dressed. Then they go get a cup of coffee and go chit chat with the girls up front and go get the newspaper and sit down and read the paper. And it's 10 o'clock before they ever touch a wrench.
Yeah, it takes forever for them to get started.
Yes. Me, my shop opens the door at 7:30. We're going at 7:30. I mean, we have people there waiting to come in the door when we open. So we are humping it at 7:30. Yeah. So we come in, we're ready to go. By 7:30, when that door opens, we're ready to go. We're dressed. We've got everything going. We've got the bays open. We've got the lights and air compressor on, and we're ready to rock and roll. 7:30, right? Hit the ground running. And there's so many people that can't do that. That can't get self-motivated.
Yeah.
And with the newer generation, I sound like an old man, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
The new generation of people coming into the workforce, the work ethic just isn't there. I don't know if it's just never instilled in them or just a generational gap between, we were raised, Stevie, I know you were raised the same way, as if you want something, get out there and earn it.
You have to, man.
You got to go bust your hump and you got to earn
given.
it. Nothing's given. You got to earn everything you get in this world. And I think on a lot of younger people, that's lost. I can just do the bare minimum and get by, and I can get the same as everybody else. No, if you want something good, go out there and get it. Go earn it. Be proud of what you have.
Man, that's all you've got.
Exactly.
That's all you've got. That's at the end of the day, it's you, and that's all you've got, man. And I think you hit on something that hasn't occurred to me. I've had this thought in my head of what's causing it. Man, to be honest with you, that's a big driver of this channel. It's like I'm trying to figure out where we went wrong, why there's nobody coming into the mechanic field, why is there, all of it, like there's just nobody coming to the mechanic field, and when they do, it's because they think it's an easy job, and then they find out it's not. Like, you got to have a love for this.
You got to have a love for it. You got to have a strong backbone, a thick skin, and you also have to have that willingness to embrace the suck sometimes, because this job, by and large, there's gonna be days where this job straight up sucks. Car gives you hell, you get shocked or cut or pinched or stabbed or something. Somebody in the shop gets hurt, one of your coworkers gets hurt, and that affects you, it messes with you, or somebody gets, a piece of equipment fails and really injures somebody. I mean, that stuff will swim around on you. Like, man,
the environment in general, right?
Yeah, the environment. You could have been underneath that rack 5 minutes ago, and then it falls on a guy 5 minutes after you walk away. God forbid that ever happens. It's very rare, but things can happen. And just, the environmental factors of sometimes it's, in the wintertime, it can get freezing cold in the shop, and you're trying to work on something, your fingers are numb.
Yeah, you can't feel anything.
Or, it's raining, and you have to go listen for a drivability noise.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Or a brake concern.
Or a brake noise, anything. Or, here in Texas, this extreme heat that we deal with on a daily basis, triple digits every day. And
feels like an oven in the shop.
It is an oven. It literally is, because most shops are made of metal walls and a metal ceiling. And
you walk outside to get a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. And, you can put as many fans on you want all day, but it's just going to blow hot air at you. So you just got to learn to get your body acclimated to that and be able to understand that that's another pressure of this job.
And the other thing is like the mental, like, excuse my language, mental mind fuck of the feast or famine. Like, when I came to this, everybody told me it's feast or famine. Like, some weeks you're going to kill it and make a lot of hours. I think you're hourly now.
I am hourly, and I'm blessed for that.
Yeah. So like, if you can get an hourly shop, that's great, but a lot of them are still flag time. And so sometimes it's feast or famine, whether you're flagging a lot of hours, 60, 70, 80 hours, maybe more, if you're just a killer. And then there's some weeks where you're flagging 15, 20 hours if it's just dead, man. And you've got to learn to manage your money that way. You can't live week by week in this style of work.
Not on that system. It is the dealership world, especially in flag time shops especially, are a feast or famine type world. And you'll have I like to call it a group of sharks. You'll have a few technicians and maybe a couple of the service writers that'll kind of stick together like a little clique.
Right.
And, they'll hold on to all the work they get. They're not going to spread the wealth around the shop. So they may be eating steak and you're struggling with your ramen noodles one day, and that's not going to change their mindset. They're going to well, I got mine, he should get his.
Yeah.
It can't be like that. That's not a way to make this business survive.
Yeah, and that's something we'll talk about here later, is like ways to change this stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's where I wanted to ask, because I thought you were on the same mindset as me, as like about the mechanic thing. I'm just trying to figure it out, man. And like I said, I think you hit it on the head with the work ethic not being taught. And I don't know if you listened to that episode. I can't remember which one it was, actually. I was talking about, I think it's a lack of coming outside. I noticed this in my hometown, which is just one town over here in Overton. I've been riding BMX bikes for a while right now, right? And so that's the town I like to ride around sometimes.
Okay.
I don't see any kids outside, man. Hardly ever, bro. We were all outside, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and it's because we're working on our bikes. We were building stuff. I was building ramps. We're just
building forts in the woods
and now, and I don't want to hate on it, because I was a gamer too. But guess what? I gamed at night when I had to come inside.
Exactly.
And I feel like they're inside all the time now. And it's not hating on technology. I know things change, but I think that's part of it, man. Is people don't know how to use their hands. They don't know what to do with their hands. They don't have that work ethic. They're not used to being hot outside, bro. I stayed outside.
Yeah.
Until it was dark, I had to come in.
That was our rule. You come home when the street light come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. So there's that. I don't know. Is there anything else in your head that like that times are changing that can cause this shortage of mechanics?
Well, with the current state of the unemployment and how there's almost now more incentive to stay home and be unemployed than there is to go out and get a job. And I'm hoping, this is getting into politics and stuff like that, but I'm just hoping we have some kind of change to where that can finally wane the other way. I want to see people put back to work. I'm tired of everywhere I go seeing a now hiring sign, and they're short staffed and the service goes to hell. Yeah. And
that's everywhere you go.
Yeah, stores, even customer service on the phone and websites and stuff like that. It's all gone to the wayside because just no one wants to work. They're too incentivized to stay home and sit on the couch.
Yeah, that's the thing that's going to turn around. Like you said, not to be political, that's going to be what turns it around, is incentivizing people to go back to work.
Exactly.
That's what it's going to take. But not to get too deep into that, because that can get serious.
Oh, yeah.
But it just, other than that, like before COVID, like when you think about it, I guess that's really it, huh? It's just a work ethic thing, man. I feel like, I don't know what else it could be.
There's less of it. There's less.
I brought this up before, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but I also think there's a what do you call it? There's a stigma towards mechanics. I think you know what I'm talking about, dude. In movies especially, the broke guy's the mechanic, ain't he?
Yeah.
He's a broke guy.
He's broke, he's dumb, he's usually an alcoholic or a
dirty all the time.
Filthy, yeah. He lives in a shack, has a horrible wife and a horrible life.
He's a drinker and he beats up his wife. It's always that way. Like, think about that movie, The Bucket List, man.
Oh, yeah.
The broke guy was the poor guy, right? Because he was a mechanic.
Yeah, and that's how they always portray us as broke. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that turn wrenches that, make bank.
I'm telling you, man, you can make, and even not everybody wants to make a lot of money. Everybody just wants to make a living, man. A lot of people do. You can make a living with this. You can make a living and not need anybody's help. You can live off this. I know so many people, man.
Easily live off this.
If you just have to be good at what you do. You just have to be good at what you do.
It's not. You do have to be good at what you do. You're not wrong, but it's so much more of being honest, upfront, and decent at what you do. You don't have to screw people over. And I see, I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen so many shops do the, squirt an oil can down on a strut to tell someone, hey, your strut's leaking, we need to change your struts.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. They just squirted it
Very
down with oil.
disingenuous.
Yeah, disingenuous, dishonest work, or shops that'll sell you a some type of transmission coolant service, and it's nothing more than them pouring a 1 ounce bottle of conditioner into the tank.
You got to be careful of the snake oils.
Yeah, and
it's ruining the field, man.
And there's so much.
There's technicians out there that come from there and go to an honest shop and start doing those things as well.
Yeah, and it can ruin a shop's. One bad technician can ruin a shop's reputation. And in this field, that's kind of all you have. Is you have your reputation. You're either a good shop that does honest work for a decent price, or you're a swindler that's going to have to do the job 4 times to get it right. And it's hard to it's easy to ruin a good reputation, hard to take back a bad one.
And it's real black and white like that. Like, I feel like that's it. There's no middle of the road. There's guys who are really on, and like they're serious about their work, and they hate guys who do this stuff wrong and make us have a bad look. And then you got guys that don't give a damn.
Yep.
And they're just doing, and they can't make money. But the reason they do that is I feel like those guys are the ones that came in this field for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
They came in this field. Like, I look at every car like it's my grandmother's car. I damn sure don't want that car to leave and a wheel fall off or whatever, and it be on my name. Yeah. Not to mention my dealership's name,
your name.
So it's very important. Like, I put that stuff on my name. You know what I mean?
And another thing to go along with that point is, regardless of your shop name, your name amongst your coworkers and your colleagues is a thing too, because they're not going to want to come behind you and work on stuff if they think you don't know what you're doing and you're going to screw up the car, or they don't want to, test drive a car that you fixed, or go talk to a customer about a car that you fixed. You can ruin your name amongst your own shop very easily by putting out subpar work and leaving bolts loose and having comebacks after comeback after comeback. You don't want that type of stigma. You want you to be on par with everyone else, and to me, on par means you're a one and done mechanic. You fix a problem one time and it's fixed.
It comes in broke, leaves fixed.
Exactly.
And one thing I think you missed, but you probably was going to hit, is the service writers. I know you were talking about that, but like, I'm going to talk about service writers specifically, man. Like, if you start being that person that's the comeback kid, that everything's a comeback, or it's just what you're doing is you're destroying your reputation. But now the service writer has to deal with that angry customer, and so they're going to get to where they tell the dispatcher, "Hey, I don't want this to go to him.
Yeah.
Don't give me or give him any of my tickets."
And that's the bad thing. I'm not saying it's necessarily unwarranted all the time, but especially in a dealership world where one or two service writers have 7 or 8 techs they can choose from, if you start bringing in subpar work, that is automatic way to get froze out and starved out. Is they will just quit sliding tickets your way, and you'll see everybody else around you turning wrenches, making money, and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for an oil change to pop up or something, begging for work. So that is a real thing too. And it's not just dealerships, it's all shops. But if it's a thing where you have more service writers than you do more technicians than you do service writers, that is going to develop. They're going to have guys that they know can get the work out in a timely manner and get them paid, keep their customers happy, all that good stuff. And the guys that take twice as long, have the comebacks, they're going to start skipping over those guys. It's just nature of the business.
And I found that those guys are the ones that we call shop hoppers. They go from one shop to the next, and they don't realize that it's them. Self-awareness is a huge thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got to know when you're the one fucking up. And they never do. They just blame it on, like, it's always the shop's problem. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, they don't like you because you're fucking up.
Yeah, and I'm big about taking personal accountability. If you screw up, step up and be like, yeah, that was me. There's no excuse for it. You can't say, oh, I was sick, or I just found out my girlfriend left me that day, or what. It doesn't matter. You're dealing with someone's life. When you're working on their car, it's one of the easiest. I've always said for years, the 2 people in the world that can kill you easiest and make it look like a mistake are your cook and your mechanic. Both of them can kill you, and it will look like a mistake.
That's a good sign. I've not heard that.
That's 2 people in the world you don't want to piss off: your mechanic or your cook.
Yeah, it's all about responsibility, man. You got to take that. That's hilarious, though. That's funny. You don't want to piss them off.
Oh yeah, bud.
You don't want to piss them off.
But yeah, just take personal accountability. I take it personally when I screw up something, or if I miss something, or any little thing that goes wrong. I feel bad about it personally. I'll sit there, I'll think about it when I go home, like, damn, I can't believe I missed that, or how in the hell did I leave that bolt loose, or how did I do this or that. And it bothers me, and I have to sit there and think about what did I do to make that mistake, and what can I do in the future to not make that mistake again, regardless of the situation.
And that's how you get better. That's how you get to our level from a beginner, is because you learn from your mistake, and then it becomes your mantra. It becomes something you check every time. You know what I mean? It just becomes like you learn from your mistakes. You're going to have mistakes, but you need to make those mistakes worth your while by learning from them.
And one of the things that I've tried to teach younger guys that I've seen in the field is, if you're not 100% without a doubt certain you tightened a bolt, or you got something put back together right, take the 5 minutes, 30 seconds, however long it takes, Go over there, put a wrench on it, make sure it's tight. Go over there, put your eyes on it, shine a flashlight on it, make sure it's right, make sure it's put together correctly. Because that 5 minutes you took could save you 5 hours down the road.
Yeah.
Because you go out, that part fails, or something comes apart on you, you've now got more damaged parts, you've got more time invested, you got more things to fix, and you're not going to get paid to do it a second time.
You really not.
If it comes back on you, that's your baby.
You get to eat that. Yeah.
You get to eat that.
Yeah, intuition's a big thing. Like, it will cross your mind. You need to go and make sure you check that out.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times that I've saved my own ass that way. Something popped online. Hey, did I do that? Go check. And I'm like, oh nope, I sure didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
or think about did I leave that tool in there? Go back and it's like laying there on the cowl, or laying on top of the engine, a wrench or a flashlight or whatever you may have left, pair of pliers, things like that. Not only are you losing a tool, but that could fall into the belt train and then get flung through the radiator, and then you're all, you're in a bunch of hurt there. So you'll be so happy in the end to go back and actually check your work if you have any doubts in your mind. I can't tell you how many times I put a car on the ground, started filling it with oil, and then stopped, reached underneath the car, checked the drain plug one more time, and it's tight, but you just don't remember doing it. You want to check. Take that extra 30 seconds to save yourself so much heartache and money in the end.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I've actually ran out to the wash, and then the guys were like, what are you doing? I got underneath the car to touch the drain plug, make sure, just because in my head, it was tight every time, but in my head, I just didn't have that mental memory of tightening it. And I was like, man, I got to go check real quick.
See, that's
drain plug's one of them huge ones, man.
Yeah, it's huge, man. I mean, it's so simple and easy to overlook. And, especially if you've got two guys working on the same car, especially in Express. That's the worst thing, is because you always think, oh, well, the other guy took care of it. The other guy did it. Man, I've gone back and gone behind guys so many times. Air pressures and tires weren't checked. Fluids weren't checked. You're supposed to do a little multi-point, check the filters and check the wiper blades, and the wiper blade completely missing the rubber element. And they're just letting it out. Oh, no, it's checked good. Yeah. Take the 5 minutes to check.
It just it messes with your routine too. Like, I haven't been an Express guy in a long time. This happened to me while I was a mechanic. The only time I've ever had a wheel fall off, or it almost fell off. It clumped, you know what I mean? It got stuck, which is a whole lot easier than if it falls off and everything. And it happened in our bay, so it was fine. But I had a guy, and for some reason he wanted to help me rotate, which is fine. I thought that he put on the other side, actually finished up the other side, because my routine is I don't promote this, okay? If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it this way. People look at me sideways when I do it this way. I do not put the lug nut on by finger. I put it in the gun and go, and I've never had one crossfire. But I have a feel for it, okay? That's just something I do. But the lug nuts were not there. I thought he had tightened it down. Made it to the wash, but when they pulled back through the wash, one of the wheels went boom, you know what I mean, and got stuck. Luckily, it got stuck and didn't fall off. But that's the only time I've ever had that happen, is because there was a miscommunication, because there's two people working on the same car. So I know you have to do it in Express, man, but it's tough.
While we're on that subject, Express guys, if you got some Express guys listening to this, I can't stress enough, get a feel for what you're doing. Get a feel for the car driving in, how it feels pulling it into the bay. You may be only pulling it 20, 30 feet, but get a feel for it. If the steering feels tight or feels loose, or if something doesn't feel right, the car misfires slightly, or the transmission feels like it slips, anything like that, make note of it. Because when you go to pull out, you're usually going to drive further taken away from the bay than you will coming into the bay. Because you're going to have to drive it around to wash, or drive it around to pull it back to the service drive, or whatever. So, if you're doing a rotate, feel for that. Turn the wheel back and forth a few times. See if that tire is loose or tight. We all make mistakes. We all leave bolts loose, whatever like that. But a good mechanic, someone that actually knows their work and knows what they're doing, can trust their own intuition, you can feel that wheel being not right. You can feel some looseness there. Stop. Lift that tire back up. Make sure those lugs are tight. Put a lug wrench on it if you have to. If you have a cordless impact, throw a cordless impact on it. Just see. Make sure. Take the 5 minutes.
Yeah. You just got to mind your P's and Q's on that. That's just, to me, that's just being on point. Just staying on point.
Yes.
Being your head being at work. You know what I'm saying? And otherwise, what else are you thinking about? You know, when you're doing that, keep your head in the game. You know what I mean? If you stay focused, you won't miss things like that. It's the people that their mind wanders. that happens to, or you just simply don't know what you're doing.
Care.
Yeah, or you just don't care at all. They don't look at it that serious, man.
And this is a serious business. I mean, these are $30,000 machines you're working on, and these are people's, livelihood. A lot of people use their car for work, or almost everybody uses their car to at least get to work,
get their family around, all that good stuff, and not to mention, like, that's probably the second largest purchase they'll ever make in their life. A lot of times, most people.
Exactly.
That's to them, that's a big purchase.
Yeah. To everybody,
you know what I mean? And if you all it takes is leaving a drain plug loose or what have you, and we got some problems.
Yeah.
A lot,
Yeah, I've seen it time and time again. People leave drain plugs loose, or put the wrong filter on a car, or whatever have you, and the oil drains out while the customer's driving down the road, and then now you're at a $5,000 engine repair.
Yeah.
For something that the part costs $2 if you have to replace the drain plug, or $2 or $3 for a filter, and just that little bit of thinking and a little bit of awareness could have saved all that.
Well, so to segue out of that, man, right into another point I had is there's levels, right, to this, like the Express and stuff, and like we see the most issues in Express usually, right, with like quality control and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's really good ones, and then there's people who just don't give a damn, and it's a job for them. Yep. Do you think that some kind of different, this is just something that I've been thinking about, some kind of different pay scale or some kind of different pay way would change that? Does pay change the quality of the work, do you think?
Well, of course, the old adage has always been true, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So if you're offering somebody, $8, $9 an hour, that's the type of quality person you're going to get. You want the minimum wage, you're going to get the minimum amount of skilled work.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've also struggled with over time to get where I am now, is finding someone who's willing to pay you what you're worth. Not everybody is going to be ASE certified master tech. Not everybody's going to be that. But you've got other guys in that shop who are going to do things that are not necessarily looked at as valuable, but they are. Guys that will come in early, guys that'll stay late, that are part of the team, that are there to know that everybody's going to go home and eat, not just a few. Right. Your guys like your porters and your service riders, they're important people. A lot of people bitch, all they do is drive cars, or all he does is sit up there and write tickets, but it's a big difference, because I know a lot of mechanics that cannot deal with the general public. They don't have the tact to, they don't have the patience, they don't have the ability to talk to a person that doesn't know about cars, like they're not stupid. Right. So there's ways to calculate your worth that don't necessarily have to be your physical ability. And then when you look at a pay scale for a technician, obviously minimal skills, minimal knowledge will equate to minimal pay, but give them the incentive to want to learn.
Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, we could take you in here and start training you. It may suck for a little while, you may get a little less pay, but once you get through that training period and you think you're ready, then we can bump you up to the next level, you get better pay and learn more and do more. And so the ability to learn, the ability to grow is a huge thing. And as far as mechanics go, the importance of techs who have been in the field, mechanics who know what they're doing, be willing to teach and coach the younger generation is crucial. It is so disheartening, it is so ridiculous and unneeded for someone that has the knowledge and the ability to not want to teach and further someone else. Like, it's not going to cost you anything, it's not going to slow you down that much. Let them shadow you, let them learn from you, teach them what you're doing as you go. Especially if you're a shop foreman or something like that, and one of the techs comes by, hey man, I'm having trouble diagnosing this. Walk them through what you're doing. Don't just go over there and diagnose it for them. Walk them through what you're doing. Show them how to get to the same conclusion you're getting to. Show them what you did to get there, what parts you tested, how you knew to go to those parts. Because some of these guys, it's not the fact that they don't want to do the work, it's that they literally just don't know. And they're scared to ask because they don't want to seem stupid.
Right.
I've been that guy. I've learned to get over that, and if I don't know, you have a wealth. Almost any shop, you have a wealth of information. You have your AllDatas and your Mitchell Pro 1s and your Identifixes. You have YouTube, you have Google, you have car forums. the other people in your shop, the other technicians, they're a wealth of information, because you never know who's run across a problem, especially if you're in a dealership world where it's just one type of car. For you, it's Nissan.
Yeah.
You may get a Ford come in there that you have no idea what you're doing with this Ford. You can't figure it out. There may be a guy who came to Nissan from Ford, and he walked right over to them. Oh, that's this. We've done that 1,000 times.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
And then he'll explain to you, this is what it is, this is what it does, why it does it. Now you know. That's knowledge you now have that you can pass on to someone else. Your neighbor may say, hey man, you're a mechanic, you might listen to my truck, and it's doing the same thing you realized a week ago. And you're like, hey, I just learned it. It's this.
I've done that a bunch. That scenario's happened to me a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. So people see you in a uniform, they'll stop you and ask you a question. Try to go around the shop, make friends with the guys, talk to them, get to know them, and you will find out the guys that you can trust, the guys that are going to be helpful to you and want to help you succeed. And you'll find the guys who are just there for a paycheck and leave me alone when we go home.
Right.
If you were just starting in the field, I would say, find you a good quality set of starting tools, whether they be hand-me-downs from a dad or an uncle or a grandpa, or if you got to take out a small loan from the bank for $1,500, $2,000, and go buy you the essential good stuff. It doesn't have to be off a truck, but at least buy stuff that is not a cheap Chinese tool that's going to break the third time you use it. You need something that you can depend on to be there time in, time out. Not saying that those cheap Chinese tools don't have a place. You can have a great set of, for lack of a better term, truck tools, or tool truck tools, like your Snap-ons, your Matco, things like that. And those are great tools, great quality. I'm not saying you can't find that quality at a department store or Amazon or whatever.
Right.
But if you find a deal and it's some cheap sockets and it's a good deal, as long as you're not using them as your everyday, it's always good to have a backup of everything. If you're good 10 millimeter brakes and that tool truck's not coming by till Monday and it's Tuesday, that cheap Chinese 10 millimeter will get you by for a week.
It will.
It may not be the best thing in the world, but it'll get you by for a week. Till you can get a hold of that tool truck, maybe meet him somewhere until he comes back around next Monday to swap your socket out for you. And while we're on the subject, you cannot have enough 10 millimeters of anything. Wrenches, sockets, deep wells, short wells. If you see a 10 millimeter, buy it. You're going to need it.
Yeah. Dude, Snap-on came by. I don't know if he came by to y'all. He had like a set of assorted 10 millimeters.
We actually had a rep from AutoZone bring us a set from AutoZone. But they had just different sizes, different drives, and different lengths of 10 millimeters.
It was just 10 millimeter everything, bro. And I loved it. The only thing they didn't have was a magnetic deep well 10. And I'm like, man, that's what you're missing in this kit, man. That's what you're missing. But anyway, I'm sure somebody else would say something else. But so you get a nice set of tools. You can find it any way you want to do it. Like I said, get along, whatever. Hit up garage sales. Any way you can find it, just get you a good set. Do your research. I have a video on our YouTube channel where I talk about like the top 10 tools you should get starting out.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get your advice on that. That is there any kind of certs or anything you would use to get you in the door? Would you go to college or would you not?
Me personally, seeing what I've seen in the field, Stevie, you're almost the exception here. I've only seen 2 or 3 guys that I know have actually gone to some type of school for mechanics that's not more than just a 1 semester course, that have actually come out knowing what they're doing. Most guys I've seen go in there and they're great with book knowledge, they're great with retaining information, but they have no clue how to actually apply it in the field. And they wind up, they come out, they take out a huge loan and buy the big Snap-on toolbox with all the Snap-on brand tools, so they're already, $50,000 in debt with all this tools and tool stuff they think they need starting out, and they might get them a job at a dealership as a master tech or whatever. Then they start getting the work that they haven't actually performed yet. They haven't done. They don't know the ins and outs. They don't know the secrets. They don't know the shortcuts. They don't know the exact diagnostic to where if it is this code for this car means this exactly every time, no fail. You don't even have to worry about diagging it. They don't know that yet, so they're going to spend the 2 hours diagging that car when you could have just went and asked your neighbor and he said, "Oh no, man, that code means this." 5-minute diagnosis. You're done. you don't know. Use your information, use your wealth of knowledge. There's so much in your shop that a lot of guys don't realize. And not every tech you ask is going to know the answer to that question. But ask around. Ask guys, especially guys that you know that have worked in different shops. Not necessarily your shop hopper guys, but guys that you know, oh, well, he was a Ford tech for 15 years and he came over here and he's been a Nissan tech for 10. Or, this guy just moved from a different city where he worked on Dodge and now he's here working on Nissans or whatever it is. You never know what someone's come across. And, especially, I've been in the used car business for a long time, mostly doing used cars. The knowledge you get, the wide variety and vast knowledge you get from that is almost, you can't put a price on it. Because you can help so many people, friends, family members, things like that, with their own personal vehicles, and you can make decent side money doing it as well.
No, yeah. That's an avenue.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. You don't have to pay someone to fix your car. You don't have to pay someone to fix your mom's car, your wife's car, girlfriend's car, auntie, uncle, whoever, neighbors. There's people I've worked with at separate jobs that wind up calling me for something for mechanics, and I wind up working on their car. And that's another thing as far as your owning up to what you did and taking accountability for things is your name travels that way too through people, your side jobs and things like that. You do a crap job, they're not going to recommend you to their family. They're not going to bring you other cars they have. You do a good job, oh, well, my wife's car's acting up. Oh, well, my mom's car's been doing something.
It opens up the window big time, opens up the door, whatever you want to say.
And that's just another avenue. And I hate saying it, government's not listening, I hope, but that's tax-free money. That's cash in your pocket. You don't have to report that. That's your money.
Yeah.
And you charge a decent wage to people and do a good job for them, you'll have a wellspring that really won't run dry there.
Yeah, because that's just the nature of cars, man. Things are going to happen, and they're going to want that. That's why they come to you, is because they want a better deal than they would get at a shop. So,
exactly.
But that's a whole other podcast in itself, man.
And a lot of people there look at it strictly as, I don't know the guys at the shop, or I don't know the guys at the dealer, but I do know Stevie, and he's my friend, he's my buddy, he's my cousin, he's my neighbor.
I trust him.
They trust you, and people want to spend money locally. It's not really a business, but a lot of people would much rather pay their friend or their neighbor or their family member to fix their stuff.
Absolutely, scratch each other's backs.
Yes, or like say, I've seen guys where, one dude fixed cars while the other dude helped him fix his plumbing. I've seen guys trade off like that in this business hundreds of times. I've done it myself.
I like that stuff, man. I call it kind of like bartering.
It is a bartering system, and it's something that's been lost for many years.
Man, I'm telling you, it needs to make a comeback.
I really wish it would make a comeback.
100%.
It's such a...
It's so much more resourceful than this paper money.
It is, and it's economy boosting because it builds a community and builds a fellowship between people, and people who normally might not have met and normally might not have that connection.
Yeah, 100%. So, but you're in the school of thought that really you're more or less wasting your time with a UTI or a Lincoln Tech or something like that.
Not necessarily wasting your time, because if you get the information, it's good. You just have to be the type of person that can put it into real world use. Anybody can retain information to take a test. But there are people, like I said, Stevie, you're one of the few exceptions that I've personally met that come out of a mechanic type schooling that is able to put it into use and is able to take that knowledge and make a living with it.
Right. So, well, I'm actually kind of in the same school of thought as you now these days, looking back. When I give people advice, I wouldn't change anything, you know what I'm saying, with my career. I feel like I learned a lot, but I have a different learning style than a lot of people that are interested in mechanics. Would you agree that I'm a little bit different than a lot of people you met in the car world?
You're way more keeping up with the trend and keeping up with the technology. You like to know what's going on and what's coming out and stuff like that, and you usually know more than most of the guys in the shop as to what's fixing to change and what's coming to you, because you like to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I do study that, but basically what I was saying is, like, most people in this field, they are hands-on learning style, and you do get a little bit of that UTI. You just don't get enough. You don't get enough repetitions. You get to do it one time. And that's not enough. But that's what I'm saying is, if it were me, if I was telling me back when I was a kid, of course I'd still tell me to go, because that's how I learn. I can learn like that, and I can retain that knowledge. I can do something just by watching somebody else do it or them tell me how to do it, I can handle stuff. A lot of people can't. They got to get their hands on it.
Yeah.
I would tell those people, majority of the people that are mechanically inclined or want to become a mechanic, you got to do it the way you did it, man. You're just going to have to work your way up. You're not going to waste your time and you're not going to waste your money at a college, okay? Because what happens to those people is they still like college. They still like that. They still like working on cars and stuff, but they can't do it because they've got this student loan from this thing, and they're having to start out as a lube guy anyway.
Yep.
Even though they have all this stuff, because most people don't trust people that come from technical schools. Because what you said, everybody's usually in the same school thought you are.
Yes.
I'm a big exception. I would agree. I'm an exception on that. So you're going to have to work your way up anyway. You might as well go ahead and get started and save your 20, 30 grand. Go ahead and just get started. Put that money into tools and let's get going. You know what I mean? And just work your way. But you got to grind. You can't sit there in an oil change spot for 6 months to a year. You can do that. What I'm saying is you can't sit there and then pout and get stuck in that route and go, this is just what I do. This is what oil change. You got to stay in the service manager's ass about, hey, dude, I want to be a tech. Like, this is serious. I'm trying to get underneath somebody and learn some shit. And do this for a living.
For the lube tech guys out there, don't think that, they're just going to come to you one day and be like, all right, man, let's try you as a tech. No, they want to see you walking around that shop when you got dead times and you're over helping the other techs do stuff. You're learning. You're seeing how things come apart. You're over there talking to the other technicians, getting knowledge, helping them out, going getting them tools, going emptying their oil bucket for them or whatever. Doing stuff to help that shop as a team. Whether it's a flag time shop, hourly shop, whatever, commission based, they want to see you not sitting on your ass playing on your phone. They want to see you having a drive and a willingness to learn and a willingness to work.
That they can transfer over into that, into a mechanic. They can say, oh, this guy has a hard work ethic. Let's see how he does. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that. It's literally like that. And you're going to learn. And then also, if you're helping mechanics and stuff, whether it be a brake job or what have you, and they like how you did it and you put their tools back and all that good stuff, they're going to say, hey, when's this guy coming up? Or, they're going to put
let's see if maybe we can make him an apprentice or a helper, and that will give you more knowledge and the ability to learn while getting paid to learn.
That's how I've had all my apprentices, is because I've had them help me do something. I'm like, man, let's see.
This guy.
Yeah, I like this guy. Let's see if he's interested. Boom, they come up. So that, that's how you're going to get it. You're not, you may, but you're usually not going to get, they're not going to ask you to come up.
No.
You're going to have to show interest. Stay on them showing interest, not just show interest one time and say, because I hear that from people all the time. Oh, well, I told them when I got started that I wanted to be a tech. That's not good enough. They forgot, bro. You got to go in there and remind them every week if you want to. You just got to stay on the grind. And like you said, be relevant, be around, be everybody seeing you all the time. If you just stay over in your express corner, technicians aren't going to see you. Chances are nobody else is seeing you, bro, and you're just literally going under the radar.
And lost in the shuffle real easy.
Yeah.
And you got to make yourself noticeable. You got to put yourself out there.
And then you get pissed when the guy that comes in like me and keeps telling them about it, keeps talking about it, moves up before you, and you've been there longer. Yeah. You can't get pissed at that because you're just sitting over there chilling out on your phone when there's nothing to do.
Yeah, you're waiting for goodness to come to you instead of going out there and grabbing it. You can't do that. Even, it was the same thing 100 years ago as it is today. The people that are going to go out there and work for it and grind and try to push for better things are going to be the people that get the better fruit.
That's it.
That's just all it is,
It comes down to work ethic, man. I talked about this in my first episode, man. And you know me, you've seen me, you've met me. I mean, you met me a long time ago. You've known me, you've seen me go through some changes.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was looking, I'll even say it, man. I was looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. I was trying to get out of the field. Yeah. I was looking for fast money and all this stuff, man. And, mechanic work aside, man, anything in life, bro, you've got to have a fucking work ethic and you got to work your ass off to get it. Exactly. I realize that, bro. Nothing's going to be given to you.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing easy out there. There's no such thing. Easy money goes easy, too. I've learned that. So
Name one person that's won the lottery that you still hear relevant has money.
Yeah.
They all blow it.
Yeah. Nobody knows these people. Who are these people?
They're gone.
So that's the thing, man. Regardless, like if I can say anything else, this is what I'd say. Work your ass off, man. Whatever you do, whatever it is. If it's flipping burgers at Sonic, bro, flip them burgers better than anybody in that fucker. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just how I look at everything I do. I try to do my best or I don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Now sometimes I get paralysis of analysis, what I like to call it, where like right now on the front porch, I'm actually been talking to my stepdad because I've got the blueprint and everything. I want to make sure it's right because I don't want to have to build it twice.
Exactly.
And so I'm kind of in paralysis, but not really because I'm on the point where it's about to be go time. But I just want to make sure it's right before my head is right before I do it.
And there's nothing wrong with doing your research and getting prepared. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll be in the middle of working on something and I'm kind of stuck on it. And 5 o'clock whistle blows, it's time to go home. But you're still thinking about it, and you're researching it when you get home. You Google.
It's more than just a job to you, man.
Yeah, you check out some YouTube videos so that when you show up on the next day, whether it be Monday or it's the next day, whatever it is, when you show up, get ready to work on that job again, you're not coming into it blind and just as confused as you were the day you left it. You now have more of an attack plan.
You're ready.
You now know, hey, da 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 da, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you less of a tech to look to others for knowledge or look to Google and YouTube and whatever for knowledge. I can't tell you how many times I've sat a YouTube video on my phone up on the cowl of the car, stop it every few seconds and go with them taking something apart because I don't know how it comes apart. And instead of breaking it, I'll watch that 5-minute YouTube video.
Yeah.
I'll watch it first, and then if I don't retain it well enough or there's a part I don't remember, go back and watch the video again and pause it right there at that part and take that little thing apart or adjust something how they show you to adjust it, because these are people that have done it before. This is someone who's not new to it, that knows what they're doing, and they're trying to say, hey, I want to pass this knowledge on to someone else to help you do it faster, to make you more money so that this job becomes easier.
Yep, and that's the whole point of this channel, man, is cars in general, but really, man, I'm just trying to get the mechanic field thriving again, man. I don't want to see it die.
Yeah, and it is in a slump right now with the chip shortage, and all these dealers are got empty lots, and we're in a state of flux, and I'm hoping it'll tick the nose up a little bit here soon. But that doesn't mean that at any point you don't have to keep making yourself better, especially if your shop's slow right now. Start learning more.
Take that advantage and things that you're weak on. Like a lot of people tell me they're weak on electrical.
Yeah.
Look into that, man. Because everybody really knows their weak point. They do.
Oh yeah.
You know your weak point. So look into that. That's why you say that I'm like well-rounded and I stay ahead. It's because I'm intrigued by it. If it's something I don't know, I'm like, hell, I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited when I don't know something. I love a challenge, dude. Like that's what keeps me going is the challenges when I don't know something.
Exactly.
So.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, if we can just get more people interested back into the field, like you're saying, get it thriving again, get people excited about being a technician, and try to remove some of the negative stigmas of, you're going to be filthy and you're not going to make any money. Well, yeah, there's the same with anybody. You can be a banker or an attorney or whatever. If you're not a good one, you're not going to make any money.
Right.
You're not going to have horrible lawyers out there living in mansions. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just like if you're not a good actor, you're not going to be in a bunch of movies. If you're not a good cook, you're not going to make a bunch of food.
Nope.
You have to be good at what you're doing. You have to put that effort and that work ethic in. And this isn't for everybody. You may try this and realize, hey man, this ain't my thing. But hey, you may realize, oh well, this ain't exactly my thing, but maybe going into the parts department, I can, that's more my thing, or the IT department, or why not going into engineering? You never know. Yeah,
like you realize you like cars, but just working on them is not for you. You can pivot in some way and still use that knowledge that you gained while you were trying that field out. Try things, man. I'm telling you. I don't care if you're 50 years old, 60 years old, bro. You still have time to try shit out, dude. I'm telling you, bro. We're gonna live a long time right now. Like,
oh yeah,
it's coming down. But so, what was I gonna say? What you were saying, I have a little saying for that, and I talk about it all the time because I have to tell young people this all the time. You guys want fire before you even put any wood in the fireplace, man.
Exactly.
Like, you got to put some wood in that fireplace first before you're going to get any fire. And what that means is, like you said, plain and simple, man, like you got to put your work in before you're going to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully we broke that stigma, man, or trying to break that stigma. It's like, if you're listening to this, you can make a living. It's definitely worth your while. You just have to be self-aware and go, okay, do I want to use my hand? That type of deal. Mm-hmm. So that's really what it is, man. I think that's really all there is to say about that.
And it's the same with anything you're going to try. Like, it's not just mechanic. Like I've been in a band for many years. The guys that are in bands that do do well are the guys that go in there and practice and perfect their instruments and perfect their songwriting and get better and continually make strides, and you don't just stay in that safe lane. You got to get out there and try new things. You got to get out there and challenge yourself. The more you do, the more versatile you can become. And not every band started out at the Metallica level. Metallica themselves started out in a garage as a bunch of nobodies.
That's how it works, yeah.
So, and that's the same with, sports athletes or famous drivers or, actors. Everybody started out on a beginning level of something. That's the way the world works. You don't start out at the top.
Yep. It started out as a desire or a dream.
Yep.
And it went from there.
It could be, like, this is the only job I could find was changing oil. Well, then, cool. Be the best damn oil changer they got.
Right.
You never know. You might like it. They may move you up to, from there, we're going to move you up to tires, and then we're going to move you up to brakes, and then we're going to move you up to, engine flushes, and we're going to move you up to B-level mechanic. And you just keep learning and growing and learning and growing and learning.
That's what it's all about, man.
And you're never too old to learn. I'm not going to name them, but went to a shop last week. Early in the morning, it's like 8:30. I'm there to get a state inspection for a car. They have you can kind of tell things are a little uproarious there, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, man, we just had a tire come off on us a block down the road. That tells me that technician didn't care. He didn't notice, because it was not even a block down the road, next door almost. So less than 100 feet from where you leave and tire falls off, you feel that pulling out of the bay. You will feel that. And this guy wasn't a young guy that did it. This guy was in his mid-40s. So that tells you you're never too old to learn.
Right.
And that to me was just laziness and didn't care. So
you can't be complacent.
You can't be. And
you get that way though, right?
Yeah. And this guy had just started there. Didn't even have his, uniforms yet.
So he kind of had something to prove. I don't know why he was.
I couldn't tell you what it was or why he had to leave a tire loose first thing in the morning. But
yeah, first thing.
Just not having his head in the game. 100% of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, but the moral of that story is, like you said, you got to learn, man.
Never too old to continue learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Man, Stevie, this has been fun, man. We got to do this again.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I think we have more to talk about. I think we've realized that.
Definitely.
There's plenty more to talk about. We'll just have to come up with some more topics, man, and pick your brain some more. If you're interested, because we can break down tool decisions. We can have discussions on things. We can do versus things, whatever you want to do.
And I'd like to hear back from your audience, man. Have them send in some questions and topics that if they want to hear you or me or both of us talk about again. I'd love to hear feedback on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, same here. Like I'm trying to start some discussions, man. Comment below if you're on the YouTube channel. If you're on the podcast, hit us up, leave a review, ask us some questions, man. We would love to answer some questions. I'm sure y'all have some out there.
Oh yeah.
So don't be shy. Send us some questions and we'll answer them. Maybe even do some Q&As if you're interested in that. But this has been your boy Stevie G and my buddy Ben Stuart. We're out. Later.